this and understand this. If you approach an attorney to file bankruptcy, there's a lot of bankruptcy attorneys. Ask them this: what is the probability that you will save my house? You can stop a foreclosure temporarily. It's called a stay. The bankruptcy creates an automatic stay. So everybody's thinking, oh, you stopped the foreclosure. You're a great attorney. No, you're not. It's automatic. A 10-year-old can file for bankruptcy and shut down the foreclosure. Where the expertise comes in is saving the home. Most bankruptcy attorneys are not equipped to save your home. They can stop the foreclosure, but this is what you got to understand. And I want you to, again, do the research and check this yourself. A Chapter 13 debtor behind on their mortgage payments can use a 3 to 5 year Chapter 13 plan to catch up on missed payments and keep their house. Did you hear what I said? I said you got a 3 to 5 year Chapter 13, 3 to 5 years. I think they'll go up to 7 years on the bankruptcy, but it's a 3 to 5 year plan, right? To have you catch up on your missed payments. So think about this, right? I want you to think about this. You were having trouble paying the mortgage in the first place, right?
Right.
So now, in addition to, you got to pay the regular mortgage payments in bankruptcy, plus you have to add on to it the arrearages. And you better not miss a payment. You got to pay what you currently, the payments, what plus what you have in arrearages. You got to, that is your new payment. Look out for that payment. Everybody I know has been in panic mode. That is on a Chapter 13. Chapter 7 is even worse and more scary. I always tell my clients, people listen to our program, and I say, please, and they're like, well, Chapter 7 will cancel my debt. Yeah, but you're going to lose that house. And even worse than that, let me tell you what I went through with a client, and this was a nightmare. Okay, he, went to the wrong attorney, and he filed for Chapter 7 for his house. Now, what the attorney did not tell him, and I want you to call and ask your attorney, once you file for bankruptcy, your assets become a ward of the state. So I'm telling you what happened to this client directly, which is why he started blowing my phone up. So they told him, oh, it looks here, you have a retirement plan, cash that in and bring us a check for it. Looks here, I see here your car's been paid for, sell it or bring us the keys. That's what they told him. That's what the trustee told him. So not only is he in a position to lose his house, now they're taking all of his assets to try to pay back that deficiency balance. And some of our clients haven't paid their mortgage in 10 years. How are you going to repay that in 5?
Impossible.
Come on, think about that, Brother Wali.
Impossible.
You pay 10 years of payments in 5 years plus the normal payment. Come on. It's all a setup. And I'm telling you, I searched the internet, I searched everywhere. I couldn't get to the facts of it. But this is what I want to tell you. Like Brother Wali said, there is hope. So I want you to know something, and I want you to challenge me on this if you don't believe it. In America, it is almost impossible to lose your home to foreclosure if you know the law. It is almost impossible. It's almost impossible. So that is what we want to talk about today. We want to understand the laws so that it's impossible. After listening to this program, nobody you know should lose their house to foreclosure. You should be down. You should be letting everybody in your church, in your organization, at work say, listen, please don't lose your house to foreclosure. On your social media, you should post this link from Brother Wali and say, please don't lose your house to foreclosure. It's a terrible situation. But again, there's so many billions and trillions of dollars at stake, you understand why they're doing it. But let me tell you the first place you should start if you're trying to save your house. You start here at this website, National nationalmortgagesettlement.com. Nationalmortgagesettlement.com. On this website, you will see that every major mortgage company in the country was sued by all the attorney generals. You know you got to be messing up, brother Wali, if you get every attorney general to come together and say you are a criminal. You are committing crimes to the one attorney general can go after anybody in the country. So he said, no, we need all of you. And they all agreed this is a crime, right? They're foreclosing on people's houses without any standing. They're illegally, not illegally, immorally. They're tricking you into allowing them to foreclose on your house. They're tricking you into allowing them to foreclose because it's almost impossible to lose your house in foreclosure. Again, let me prove it to you. You go to this website. In the website, you have a copy of the summons and complaint of the attorney generals, what their complaint was against the mortgage industry, the entire mortgage industry. In it, they outline every way that the government anticipated that around 2008 that mortgages were going to start collapsing. The system was constructed the wrong way. It was designed to benefit banks and destroy home ownership in this country. The government anticipated this. So what they started doing was paying the banks to give you a loan mod. They said, look, you guys invested all this money, made all this profit, stripped all the money out of the mortgage industry, turned it into security, fractionalized it, and took all these bonuses for yourself. Now the mortgage industry is going bankrupt. I don't want people to start losing their houses. The entire American system is built on home ownership.
Yes,
so
sir.
we're going to give you billions of dollars so that you can then give the American people a principal reduction, wipe out all the fees that you say they owe, and give them a mortgage payment that's close to half of what they currently pay. Make it affordable. Make the home affordable. That's what the government did. But let me tell you how crazy this situation is. Okay, because one of the first programs was called TARP. You guys got to Google that and look at the TARP program.
I remember that.
Now, even though they paid them billions, they still started foreclosing on the property. So the government, and you got to look at this complaint, offered them 7 different payment structures. So they kept paying them to give you a loan modification. And it got to the point where the government's like, what the heck is happening to all that money we're giving you? You're still foreclosing. That is criminal. So we already said you had criminal activity. We paid you all this money to bail you out, and you pocketed the money instead of giving it to the consumer.
That's what they did.
So that's why you got every attorney general saying, hey, wait a minute, this is a problem. So they sued these guys, and they're supposed to offer you loan modification. That's why it is a legal requirement for the mortgage industry to offer you foreclosure prevention. It is the law. They don't have a choice. They've already been paid for it. They've already been paid for it. So you start here at this website so you can wrap your brains around, because a lot of you think about this. You think, well, I ain't paid my mortgage in a whole year, or I've been paying slow. I'm a good Christian, Brother Wali, or I'm a good Muslim. I'm taught to be, a good fiscal agent over my finances. Maybe God wants to punish me for not paying on time, right? Maybe this is a fair punishment. That is not true. God does not want to punish you and take your house. God moved to the government to give provisions to stop you from losing your house.
That's right.
That's made a mistake is the Bible says we perish for a lack of knowledge. So you have not invested enough time in understanding the system that controls home ownership in America. So you have to have a better, more comprehensive understanding. And that's why I appreciate you looking at this video. And I really will appreciate if you share it with other people, because we're going to shut down foreclosures in this country. We can do it with this video. So we started at nationalmortgagesettlement.com. Now I understand that I didn't do anything wrong. For a lot of people, the reason you were having problems in your mortgage had nothing to do with you. There was a lot of loan origination malfeasance. A lot of people went to jail for structuring loans illegally and setting you up with payments that they knew you couldn't afford. Mm-hmm. They gave you a mortgage that they knew you couldn't afford, so they could come back and steal the mortgage after they stole the money from the government. Get out of here. Man, you better save your house. So the first step, if you are in a situation where your house is in foreclosure, the mortgage company is trying to steal your home, there's some terms that you need to know. You have to understand foreclosure defense. So you have to improve your repertoire of understanding. So I'm going to give you this list, and in later shows, if you're interested, we can pull these and talk more in detail. But if you have right now an attorney or somebody helping you, because we come behind a lot of attorneys who tell you, get out the house, you lost the house, we tried, we can't win. We come behind them and still save your property.
Put that help in quotes, Dr. Grayson. Put help in quotes, because it's not really help. They are part of the system that is designed to rob the American citizens of their homes.
Yes, sir. If you are in that process with an attorney already, make sure you know these key terms. So the first thing is, once they foreclose on you and you have a summons and complaint, you have to answer that complaint. Okay. If they're moving to foreclose, you have to answer every motion that they file. So make sure your attorneys are showing you, and you should look at this. Don't think, I don't understand legal language. No, you need to know what's being done on your behalf, because a lot of times what we found is some of these guys are really good, and they tried hard, and they just didn't have a lot of history of foreclosure defense. So that is a problem. But some of these guys are not really geared for foreclosure defense, and they're just good at something else, and they're just, trying, but they're not trying very good. So you want to be aware of what's going on, what has happened on my case. Make sure you get a copy of every motion that the banks file and their corresponding response. So if our legal team steps in to help you, the first thing they're going to ask for is your history of what's going on with this. The next thing, which we do better than anybody else, and you need to put this one in your vocabulary: cross motion for damages. Let me tell you this, I don't think I've ever seen a law firm we've come behind do this: cross motion for damages. I don't think I've ever seen it. Cross motion for damages. But I want you to understand what this means. If somebody sues you and they have no real standing to sue you, or their case is based on fraud and misrepresentation, then they are doing you a disservice. So you are supposed to punish them for filing fraudulently. And you do that by filing a cross motion for damages. So when we respond, if we respond, we're going to respond with a cross motion for damages. So what we're saying is, you're suing us to take my house. My house is worth $500,000. Guess what? I'm suing you for $1 million. Twice the cost of my house, because you dragged me into court. You're terrorizing my children. My wife is emotionally distressed.
That's right.
Yes. All the pressure and threats of being homeless. Do you understand how that diminishes